Thank you, Swaminiji and Jyotima, for inviting me as a guest to this beautiful program. It's an honor and a great joy to be here with all of you on this most auspicious occasion of Navaratri. I would like to begin with singing, because singing helps us to relax the mind, to open the heart, and to open ourselves to the sweetness and the grace that is always surrounding us. Let's begin by invoking Devi. Take your seat, close your eyes. Let the weight of your body drop into your seat. The spine moving upwards, the shoulders relaxed. Taking a deep, slow breath. सर्वमङ्गलमङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसारिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नारायणी नमोऽस्तुते नारायणी नमोऽस्तुते ॐ शान्ति So let us remember what joy it is to come together here, to celebrate in the name of Devi, to learn together, to practice together. Sometimes we become so serious, and so often we forget to enjoy each and every moment of this precious life. So the song that I would like to sing with you, it's called I Choose to Live in Love, and it's by Sam Garrett. It's a very joyful song in honor of Sri Lakshmi. You can put your hands on your heart and just close your eyes for a moment, taking a deep, slow breath, softening and feeling into the heart space. Let us open to the divine presence, to Sri Lakshmi, that resides inside our hearts. May she guide us to recognize her in ourselves and in all of life. I sing like the birds, I grow like the trees, I choose to live in love. I am joy, I am ease. I sing like the birds, I grow like the trees. I choose to live in love. I am joy, I am ease. I sing like the birds, As you know, Navaratri is the celebration of Devi's victory over the Asuras. And of course, this is our inner battle. The Asuras are these egoic forces in us that don't allow us to recognize our true self. So these forces that hold us in bondage and that stop us from seeing and recognizing who we really are. That we really are one with Devi, one with the divine. So you must have listened to the stories of how Ma Durga is fighting the demons, Madhu and Ketaba and Mahishasura. And these destructive forces within us, they operate from a place of lack, from this feeling of never enough, from this feeling of being incomplete somehow. And they constantly push us to looking for satisfaction outside of ourselves. And they never get enough. So they keep exhausting our precious life energy in this pursuit of ever more enjoyment, ever more pleasure. But instead of bringing us fulfillment, they are just leading us deeper and deeper and deeper into the mud, into the darkness, into the bondage and the confusion and the inability to see the truth. So what we are really longing for is eternal bliss. So everybody really is looking for lasting happiness. And of course, people look in different ways. They try to reach it in different ways. But essentially, what all of us want is fulfillment that never goes away, that is not separate from us. We want to be united with the source of joy, with the source of bliss. And this source of bliss is this magnificent goddess, Lakshmi, who is known as the embodiment of beauty, of delight. And she is that unceasing flow of abundance, unconditional love. She's that life-sustaining principle in creation, the nurturing principle. She's the sweetness and the joy in life. And the easiest way for us to see her, even with our very own eyes, is through beauty. So beauty is a divine quality that is inherent in creation. And when we see beauty, it reminds us of the divine presence. It attracts us. For example, we are very attracted by the beauty of nature, a beautiful sunset, or the scent of a flower, or the crescent moon as it is rising on the pink evening sky, or just the cuteness of a baby cat, a baby animal, the silky fur. So Devi attracts us in this way. This is how we begin to open our senses and long to become really receptive and really receive her, ready to become aware of this incredible abundance that surrounds us. And this beauty is so wondrous, so magnificent, that we may ask ourselves, who is behind all of this? And this is the crucial question that points us towards the divine. Many spiritual seekers receive their first callings through the beauty of nature. So beauty can be a door to the divine, but we need to be able to discriminate between the outer beauty that surely fades sooner or later and the eternal source that never stops flowing. So we don't want to get caught in the outer forms only. We want to look deeper. So the generally known characteristics of Lakshmi, the more superficial understanding of Lakshmi is that she fulfills wishes and that she brings wealth and health in the material world. But her true spiritual gift goes much, much deeper and is mostly overlooked. So what we need to understand is that every form of outer beauty and outer splendor is temporal. It fades with time. Even the moon or the ocean, compared to a short human life, they seem to be everlasting. But even they fade for us, because once our eyesight fades, once we lose our vision, then what are we going to do then? So the right inquiry is, what is the eternal source? What is the origin of all this beauty and all this abundance that we so long for? And depending on our state of consciousness, the state of our mind, we can react to the experience of beauty and pleasure in different ways. So if we are thinking that the outer forms is all there is, then we are surely going to get stuck in the mud. We are going to be led astray. We are going to chase one material enjoyment after the other. And this is what it means to be ruled by the asuras, by Madhu and Ketapa, constantly looking for sweetness, constantly chasing the outer pleasures. So when our perception is clouded, then we are not able to direct our senses, focus our senses on the divine light, on that inner source of joy. So our big trap is to become addicted, to run after ever more experiences of pleasure, to abuse food, sex, money, wealth, luxuries, in order to feel better about ourselves, relationships also. And the trap is that we fail to realize that we are running into the wrong direction, actually away from the divine experience, away from the source of abundance. And this feeling of lack inside of us is just becoming more and more pronounced until we realize the futility of this pursuit. Because these outer pleasures, they are really just covering up that feeling of lack. We are never really satisfied. It is never enough. So if our mind is sufficiently clear, then we are able to look deeper. Then we are able to take these outer forms, these outer pleasures and beauty as pointers towards realizing Lakshmi Devi, that which is the origin of the delight. And then we can realize that Devi is found in all of creation. So the real gift of Lakshmi is spiritual grace, that inner unfolding of clarity, that inner unfolding of recognition, of insight, the ability to see that this whole world, including ourselves, is the beloved goddess, the one that we are so yearning for. And when Lakshmi's grace is with us, then our mind is able to remain balanced and harmonious in all situations of life. Because we are in this constant inner flow of sweetness and unity with the Devi. It is an unconditional acceptance and love of life, no matter how it presents itself to us. And this is the key. However she may show up, as a traffic jam, as sickness, as loss of a job, as a challenging person in our lives, knowing that all this is the beloved, all this is Ma. So it is the ability to see beauty, to see the goddess in all things, all people, all situations, all circumstances. Not only in those that please us, not only in those that we like. And when Lakshmi starts to reveal herself to us, we are able to perceive the grace in everything, in all of creation. Even in the unpleasant things, even in the ugly things, they especially become our teachers. Nothing is excluded. And it is through the cultivation of constant inner presence of Lakshmi that we come to this point that we are able to see the divine in all things. So how can we practically reach this state? How can we prepare and refine our mind so that we can really receive Lakshmi's grace, so that we can become a suitable vessel to hold the divine presence? How can we recognize her in our everyday lived reality? First of all, we need to take care of these asuras that keep us distracted, that keep us enslaved, and that make us run into all the wrong directions, that make us chase all of these fleeting pleasures, luxuries, food, entertainment, wealth, and that blind us to this true inner wealth, to that true freedom and true bliss. So oneness with Devi can only be found if we are able to go beyond our likes and dislikes, our attachments, and also our aversions. These are the conditionings that we have collected throughout our lives. And this programming has started in our very early childhood, from the family we are born into, our parents, the culture we are born into, from our own experiences, the pleasurable ones, the painful ones. And the mind has classified everything neatly, put everything into boxes. This is good, this is bad, this is beautiful, this is ugly, this is wrong, this is right, that is acceptable, this is to be rejected. I always do the things in this way, I never do those things. And it gives us the illusion that we know how things work. And the older we become, the stronger these conditionings also become. The deeper these tracks, these samskaras, because the more we repeat the same track, the deeper it becomes, until we are only able to run in only those same tracks over and over again. And we lose the ability to be spontaneous, to be flexible, to be joyful, to meet life as it happens, to be intimate with life, to really go with the flow, with Devi as she is playing. So over time, these self-made walls of preconceived ideas around us, they become stronger and stronger. We are building these walls, these separations, these distinctions, these rules, because they are giving us a sense of security. I am this, I am not that. But you notice what it really does. It puts us into a prison. And it is the way that the ego protects itself. So this very carefully crafted sense of self, of who we think we are, or how we believe we need to be in order to be representable to the world, that is being protected. So we live with this idea that this is me here, and out there, that is the world. So that is what the ego believes, that it is separate from the whole, separate from Devi. And in this pity condition, it feels to protect itself, it feels to defend itself behind all of these walls of judgment. So practically, the first step for us is to become aware and to realize our habitual judgments about things, about people, about situations, about ourselves. That's a big one. And to recognize this harsh, fearful and resentful voice in our heads whenever it jumps in. And once we have enough awareness to catch it, it immediately starts losing power over us. Because we see we have another choice to act, to think, to feel. And immediately we can feel a greater sense of freedom. Then we can again become more flexible, more gentle with ourselves and with others. And we can begin again to flow with life, gracefully moving with what is, with life as it happens. It's a kind of returning to innocence, to curiosity, to playfulness. So Lakshmi is very closely related to water element. And this is precisely what we are able to learn from water element, to accept things as they are, without resisting, to allow everything to come and to allow everything to go, to welcome everything as the goddess, through this unconditional love. And whatever needs to be transformed will be transformed. Of course, on the outside we may have to act, we might have to say no, we need to stand up for ourselves. But the point is that we don't go into inner resistance against how things are. We don't think that things should be different. We don't go into suffering. We lovingly recognize that, yes, this too is Ma. This too is my beloved, my very own self, my closest. And you are probably familiar with the Devi Suktam, this beautiful hymn in honor of Divine Mother from the Devi Mahatmyam. And it reminds us of this truth, that everything we experience is nothing but Devi. Everything in the universe is her expression. Joy and pain alike, gain and loss alike, darkness and light, it is all her play. It's all her dance. And it goes like this: Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Kshuddha Rupena Samstita Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha. So, to this Devi that lives in all things, you are in the form of hunger. I greet you, I greet you, I greet you again and again. And then it goes on, Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Chaya Rupena Samstita, Shakti Rupena Samstita, Trishna Rupena Samstita. So, to that Devi who is in the form of shadow, in the form of energy, in the form of thirst. And then the last one says, Bhranti Rupena Samstita, illusion. So even our illusion, even our ignorance, even our blindness, that also is Devi. So whenever we feel resistance against how things are, whenever someone is treating us poorly, or whenever we are condemning a situation or a person, when we feel fear, anger, we can make it a practice to remember, Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu, all this is you, Ma. All this is your play. And when we look at the iconography of Lakshmi, we see that she's sitting on a red lotus or pink lotus, and she's dressed in the most beautiful silk and sari, and she's adorned with jewelry, gold and gemstones, and she has a very gentle, sweet smile on her face. And the main symbol of Lakshmi is the lotus. She's also holding two lotuses in her hands, and that is really a symbol of spiritual unfoldment and non-attachment. So as you know, the lotus flower grows, it is rooted deep down in the mud of a pond. It is very muddy water. And the flower itself is floating on top of the water, on the surface, very gracefully. And the flower never gets stained by the mud. It doesn't even get wet from the water, because these water droplets, they simply roll off, just like Lakshmi. So Lakshmi also, she is based in the world of form. She is all forms. The whole gross material world is her. And just like us, because we also are divine beings immersed in form, in these bodies. But Lakshmi's divine nature remains completely untouched, unchanged, unattached. Nothing sticks to her. And that is the meaning of being in the world, but not being of the world. So what does this mean for our practical life? How can we live this in our daily life? Because we are human beings that are fully engaged in life. We fully participate in this world. We have families, we have jobs, we need to feed ourselves, we procreate, we experience pleasure and pain, gain and loss. And yes, we can enjoy and appreciate the beauty and the sweetness of life. But we need to know how to be detached. And we need to be able to enjoy both pleasure and pain, gain and loss, because this all is part of it. The point is that we don't get stuck in the mud. We don't get attached. We neither become trapped by the enjoyments, like the ants that are becoming stuck to the honey, nor are we rejecting and resisting when things are taken away from us, when things don't go our way. So we are able to welcome joy and pain alike, and we're also able to let both go when they want to go. And of course, this is much easier said than done. So I'm just here to remind us and to remind myself, first of all, to practice. And the more we remind ourselves and the more we practice, we slowly, slowly move towards freedom. So when we are no longer controlled by our attachments and by our aversions, by our likes and by our dislikes, that's when we are able to really receive Lakshmi's grace. When we don't fall out of love with her just because things don't go our way. When we are meeting with the shady sides of life, because that also is her. And we also need to remember that shadow can exist only where there is light. The shadow points us towards the very existence of light. So when everything becomes a reminder of the presence of Devi, then we no longer go astray. To believe that there is anything where the divine is not present. Sri Ma Anandamayi, this outstanding female saint of the 20th century, she was recognized as an avatar, as a living manifestation of Devi. And many times throughout her life, people would ask her, "Ma, who are you?" And most of the time, she would be extremely humble, and she would playfully hide herself, and she would say, "Oh, I'm just a little girl. I don't know anything." But at other times, she would reveal the magnitude of her being. And there are some really mind-blowing quotes where she speaks about herself. And one of those self-definitions of hers was, "I am Purna Brahma Narayani." Purna means fullness, completeness. Narayani is a name of the goddess. So I am the fullness of divinity in human form. And she would also say there is not a tiny place where I am not. So it is really the goddess who is everything, who is in everything, who does everything, who is even doing the sadhana through us, who is even this longing and desire to awaken. We always believe that we are the doers, but nothing is really in our hands. So one key to Lakshmi is surrender, to let go of doership, to let go of this need to control, which is an illusion anyways, to become soft like water, so open and so receptive, and to let her do. So let us connect to Mahalakshmi with her mantra, and then let's go into meditation with her. So Lakshmi's bija mantra, her seed mantra, is Shreem. It is such a precious and powerful mantra. It is a sound that you can really take refuge in. It is nurturing, it is soothing, it is very healing. So the mantra is Om Shreem Mahalakshmyai Namaha. Let's chant her mantra together a few times, and then we go into meditation. So please take your seat. Keep your body upright, gently closing the eyes. Taking a slow, deep breath. Letting the weight of your body sink into the ground. Bringing your awareness to the heart space, and to the divine presence of Sri Lakshmi, the beauty, the abundance, the joy inside your heart. Together. Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha. 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 Our body is the temple in which the Devi resides. Sitting up straight with an attitude of reverence, and at the same time relaxed with a sense of joyful anticipation. Take a deep, slow breath, softening, relaxing. Feel the root of your spine connecting to earth. Feel as if roots are stretching deep down into earth. Feel the still and peaceful grounding energy of earth beneath you. The spine is growing and stretching upwards towards the sky. And the top of the head is like the crown of a tree, expanding into the cosmos. With every exhalation, relaxing more. face and the eyes soft, the shoulders, the belly, the upper body is in perfect balance, and the whole body is firmly supported, securely held by earth. Now simply become aware of the free flow of breath without interfering. Very natural. Feeling that fine, graceful flow. Now become aware of the heartbeat. That warm, loving pulsation of life. Become aware of the flow of blood throughout the whole body. The flow of all the liquids in the body, flowing freely with this joy of life. Feel how every cell of the body is saturated with this joy of life. This rich, shimmering golden flow. Become aware of the effortlessness. Everything is just happening by itself. There is nothing to do, nothing to control. Everything is just happening. Time is also flowing. The sun is rising, and in the evening the sun sets. The seasons are changing in their own time. The rivers are flowing by themselves. Feel this flow in each and every atom of the universe. This joyful dance of life. All of creation is fully surrendered to this sweet flow of Lakshmi's grace. Everything is shimmering in her golden light, rejoicing. Simply observe this. Nothing to do, nothing to achieve, no resistance. You simply enjoy your oneness with the flow. And with every exhalation, a gentle smile around your lips. and in each and every cell of the body. Lakshmi enjoying her own dance. Shri, Shri, Shri. Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha. Gently rubbing the palms of your hands and placing them over your eyes, feeling that nurturing energy of the heart through the hands, and moving it over your head and over your whole body. So let's conclude. How can we bring this experience of joyful flow, of abundance into our daily lives? So there are different keys, and one simple way to honor and to express Lakshmi in our lives is by keeping our living space in a very ordered and beautiful and pure state. Our workplace, our kitchen, our living space. This is a way to appreciate that which we have been given, because everything is the goddess and everything belongs to her. So to keep the things in order, to create harmony, to create beauty around us. And in this way, we not only honor her, we also honor ourselves as divine beings. And we also become that sustaining, that nurturing principle, and we enjoy it. The second very important point is gratitude. So gratitude really allows us to appreciate the sweetness and grace that is always there. And we start by very consciously appreciating all of the comfort, all of the beauty that is given to us, that always surrounds us. Seeing this incredible richness that has been given to us. So let's begin right now where we are. The clothes that we are wearing, that are keeping us warm, protected, that are comfortable, that suit our bodies. Maybe the jewelry we are wearing to adorn the body. The comfortable living space that we have. The things in our kitchen, the food, the spices, the herbs. The people in our life that love us, that support us. All those people who have contributed for us to be here together, to share in this way. Our body that serves us so tirelessly, that allows us to experience this world through the senses, that supports our awakening. So the practice is to consciously appreciate and enjoy and celebrate the simple things in life, to count our blessings. And that is going to open the doors for the great inner joy. That is the cultivation of contentment, santosha. To find beauty in the simple things of life, in simplicity. A simple meal, lighting the candle and sitting in stillness, taking a walk around the block, watching the wind as it moves in the trees, or just even being grateful and watching our own breath as it comes, as it goes. Gratitude and appreciation. And then the next key is to gather our senses. Instead of allowing our senses to run all over the place and to chase one fleeting pleasurable experience after the other, eating one more piece of cake, checking our phone one more time, buying another handbag, and so on. So instead of being ruled by our likes, by our attachments, gently directing the senses back to our present experience, pleasant or not. Focusing the senses on that which is already here now. Staying with that which is in front of us. Noticing this incredible richness of the present moment. And really tasting each drop of life like precious nectar. So the next important key is non-judgment. Trying not to judge everything through this lens of our likes and dislikes, through the lens of our conditionings, people, situations. So all we have to do is simply to be aware enough to notice when the mind jumps into the same old track. And in that very moment, step out and notice that you have a choice. And what comes with this is an inner freedom, a softening, an attitude of generosity, where we can allow life, people, situations to be exactly as they are. So what we are practicing really is unconditional acceptance. And how do we do this? By looking at the world with very gentle, loving eyes, as if looking at our beloved, coming to the world with an open heart, blessing everyone and everything, and remembering that all of this is Devi, including ourselves. Jai Ma. Let's conclude with the mantra for light for recognition and for eternal life. Asatoma Satgamaya. Once again, sit up straight, closing the eyes, bringing your awareness to the heart space. If you have any question that you would like to ask, you can go to devisdaughters.com and contact me there. Jai Ma.